So, hi team. Good evening, everyone.
Good
So,
evening,
we'll be
sir.
starting in a couple of minutes, guys. Maybe people are still joining. Okay. So, and I'm seeing so many logins. Okay. So, just be patient for a couple more minutes, guys. So, we'll start. Okay. Is it fine with everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Thanks.
yes,
Thanks.
sir.
Thanks for confirmation. Okay. Yeah. So, good evening, everyone. So, thanks for joining for a JUnit workshop. Okay. So, welcome to Ashok IT. Right. So, myself. So, welcome to Ashok IT, guys. Welcome to JUnit workshop. So, thanks for joining, and we'll get started off. Okay. Right. So, myself, Srinivas Reddy Challa, associated with Ashok IT, and currently, and I'm dealing with Java full stack batches. Right. So, myself, Srinivas Reddy Challa. So, having around 14 years of training and mentoring experience. In training and mentoring. So currently, and I'm associated with a few of the companies, right now. So, and I'm taking care about Java full stack batches. In our Ashok IT, right now. So currently, and I'm dealing with one batch, and core Java is completed. Monday onwards, we are going to start at the same time advanced Java concepts. right? So we'll be starting advanced Java from this coming Monday. All right. So time is 7 p.m. IST. So it's an all-night training. Right. Now in that advanced Java batch, so we'll be dealing with JDBC, collections activities, already collections completed. We'll be working on collections real-time scenarios. Yes. And we'll be dealing with JDBC, and later we'll be dealing with database design and Oracle. Later we'll be going with servlets, JSP and JSTL, followed by MVC applications and web services and real-time projects. So this is the agenda for from Monday onwards. Okay. Now, so in this session, we'll be starting with JUnit. Right. Now, to start with JUnit, what are all the prerequisites, guys? Anyone having an idea? What are all the prerequisites? What are all the prerequisites? So any idea? What are all the prerequisites? What are all the prerequisites, guys? Any idea? Respond, please. Any idea? What are all the prerequisites?
Core Java knowledge and some Spring Boot and microservices.
Yes, Spring Boot and microservices knowledge and all not required, right? So as of now, you need to have a good knowledge on core Java, right? So mainly we are talking about JUnit and core Java, right? Now you need to have a knowledge on core Java. So it is suggestible to have knowledge till 1.6, 1.7, and if you have knowledge on 1.8, added advantage. Okay, right. Now only these things are needed. Okay, now. Right. So nothing much prerequisites, guys. You need to have knowledge on core Java. All right. Now, so can we start a little bit about what do you mean by an error, and then why we need JUnit test cases to be written, right? Now, so let's say we have three different types of errors. What are all the different types of errors, guys? Let me go here. Errors occur during a program execution. So we are having three types of errors: compile time errors, and then we might have runtime errors, and we'll have logical errors. Right. So we'll be talking about these errors first. Right. So compile time errors, syntactical issues are compile time errors. Syntactical issues will come under syntax errors, come under compile time errors. Runtime errors. So program will be aborted due to specific input, right? So program exceptions, runtime exceptions, right? So runtime errors related runtime exceptions, right? So we'll be dealing with this with exception handling, right? So the errors which are all not come under compile time and the errors which are all not come under runtime, such type of errors are said to be logical errors, right? So I will tell you a simple example. What do you mean by a logical error, and how you can address those logical errors, right? Now observe here, guys. Now let me write a little bit of small program for your reference. So let's say I'm writing a program called public class test program. right? So in the test program, what I'm doing, and I'm writing a main method, public static void main method, and I'm going with a string aux array now. So open flowerly brace, closing flowerly brace. So inside of that, and I'm writing a program, let's say, and I'm going with a digit int C. Let's say, and I'm going with a char C. Now in that char C, and I'm going with a digit 9. Now, and I'm going with int x equal to 10 plus C. Now I'm going with a 10 plus C, right? Now I'm printing this SYSO system dot out dot println of system dot out dot println of the sum value, something like that. The sum value. Now I'm printing X, right? Now, so tell me output of this program. Tell me output of this program. Maybe I will give you few options. Compile time error. Compile time error. Right? Runtime error. Maybe, and I'm expecting an output is 19. Now, and I'm getting none of the above. None of the above. Yeah. Hope you got it, right? Hope you got this program. You understood this program?
Yes, sir.
Right. So what will be the output? Okay, just give me a minute, guys. So let's say I need to do some settings.
The ASCII value of C plus 10 will be printed.
Just give me a minute, guys. Just give me a minute. So let me go with. Guys, don't draw anything, guys. So I have to set some settings. Yes, answer is none of the above.
The reason is type mismatch.
Yes. Right. So we'll be getting none of the above. Guys, don't do this drawing something like that. Okay, please. Right. So our answer will be none of the above. Why we are not getting any compile time error as such, right? So let me run this. So let me go here and create a package. A new. Just create a core Java project. Just I'm creating a Java project. JUnit examples. Ashok IT. Right now I'm creating a package. Next, and I'm going with finish option. And I've opened the perspective in core Java environment. Okay. Right. So now what I'm trying to do, let me create, expand this. Now, so once I'm creating the project, generally I used to do one setting, going to properties, and I'm going with a Java editor, clicking on save actions, enable project specific settings, perform the selected actions on the save, format the source code, organize imports and additional actions. This is one-time setting so that all lines of code is automatically formatted. All the lines of code is automatically getting formatted here, right? Now in that, and I'm creating an example, test example, new class. Now example, test example, right? Now we'll be going with com dot Ashok IT dot JUnit, right? In this package, and I'm creating a basic example. Hope this font is visible.
Yes.
Right. So I'm going
Yes,
with the
sir.
main, and I'm going with the main method. So see here, once I saved, automatically the lines of code is getting formatted. Now let me declare int, let me go with a char c equal to digit 9, right? Now I'm going with int x equal to 10 plus c, right? Now we are expecting s by s4 to be printed x, right? Now we are expecting 19 to be written. We are expecting 19 to be written. But unfortunately, if at all you're seeing, you're getting an answer called 67 here. You're getting an answer called 67 here. Generally, these two are different types, right? 10 is an integer, whereas char is a character data type. Then how it will be concatenated, how it will be added. Now, this is, our expectation is 19. Our expectation is 19. But what is the value which is received here? Here we are getting 67, right? Now, this program is not throwing any compile time error, and this program is not throwing any runtime error, and it is giving an output. But our expectation is 19, but it is returning 67, right? That means it is our pure developer understanding mistake or not? Pure developer understanding mistake or not? Isn't it? Is it a pure understanding mistake or not? Let me know, guys.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
It's a pure understanding mistake, right? Now, what's the problem? Actually, C is a character data type. Internally, Java virtual machine, it is casting to integer data type automatically. Now, that's the reason what happened. The ASCII value of character 9, the ASCII value of digit 9 is added, right? So that's where we are getting 67. That's where we are getting 67. So if you wanted to get an actual ASCII value, now what you're supposed to do, you can subtract ASCII value of 0 with ASCII value of the digit. Now we are getting 19 to be get. Now here we are getting the output. Have you noticed that? Now this is the correct way of implementation. This is the correct way of implementation to get an exact digit value. Am I correct or not? So this is previous one is our pure implementation mismatch. Previous one is our pure implementation mismatch. Is it correct or not? Is it correct or not? So previous one is pure implementation mismatch, right? Now our expectation is 19, but it is giving 67 previously. Why? Because wrong understanding of concept, wrong assumption of concept. Am I correct or not? So such type of errors are said to be logical errors. Do you agree with me? These errors are said to be logical errors, right? Now, how you can identify logical errors? Logical errors we can't identify via compile time, and we can't identify via runtime. Only you can do a proper testing for this. Only we can perform a proper testing for this. Am I correct or not? Only we can perform proper testing. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Right. So that's where we are in a need of testing. So as a developer, we are maybe confident or maybe overconfident. Am I correct or not? As a developers, we might be confident or maybe we might be overconfident. Both are possible. Am I correct or not? I'm implementing the program, so this program will give correct output. That's your perception. Am I correct or not? So what if at all you're not properly implementing an algorithm, maybe incorrect assumption of your theoretical or technical knowledge will give you different outputs than what you expected. Now, in that scenarios, what you are supposed to do, always third-party testing will give you, better results, right? Now, so let's say as a developer, we are always in a positive environment. As a developer, we are always in a positive environment, guys. Positive thinking. But testers will start testing your code. These developers won't know anything. They don't have a proper understanding of implementation. They did some code and they are throwing on us. So they're always with a negative thinking. And they will start their testing with that negative mindset only. So if they are starting testing with the positive mindset, even they are not able to identify the logical mistakes which that project or which that requirement is giving to you. So that's why always testers will start the testing with negative attitude, with negative mindset. So that only gives you correct output for them. And as a developer, we are always will be in a positive environment, and we are thinking that our code never throw any exceptions, right? So this is the scenario where we need to go for testing, right? So what are all the different types of errors? Tell me, guys, what are all the different types of errors? Compile time errors,
Syntax errors.
compile time errors or syntactical errors, runtime errors like null pointer exception, array index out of bounds exception, input mismatch exception, string index out of bounds exception, file not found exception, etc. And logical errors. So why we might get logical errors? What is the reason we are getting logical errors? So incorrect implementation of an algorithm, wrong understanding of the subject, issues we might face. Am I correct or not? So to avoid that, we need to go for a testing. Hope you understood, guys. So, and I'm not going in detail with what do you mean by white box testing, what do you mean by black box testing, and what do you mean by manual testing. And I'm not here to give you that guidance. So, and I'm just starting with JUnit, and as a developer, how we are going to test our code. Our main agenda is that. Hope you got it, guys. Hope you understood.
Yes.
Can I go with next point?
Yes.
Can I go with next point?
Yes, the notes will be shared.
Sorry?
The notes will be shared.
Yes, notes will be shared at the end of the session. Okay? You no need to worry about that. Okay? Guys, so everyone are with me so far.
Yes, sir. You can go ahead.
Can I assume everyone
sir.
understood till this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, clear.
Yes,
Yes,
super.
sir.
Excellent.
Totally.
Right. So, right. Now, so we have different types of testings, right? So people might call manual testing, automation testing, black box testing, white box testing, performance testing, regression testing, etc., etc. So we don't need to bother at this point of time. Okay. So manual testing, right? And automation testing. Manual testing and automation testing, right? So again, in that white box testing, black box testing, performance testing, etc., etc. So many things are there. Okay, we no need to bother about that. Okay, later we can learn those theory concepts. So we'll be talking about JUnit testing, right? So what do you mean by JUnit testing? Testing the units of a Java program. Testing the units of developers implementation code, whether it is producing the expected output or not. This is only the job we need to do. This is only the job we need to focus on. Do you agree with me?
Sir, we can do testing only in Java. Code.
Yes, with the help of JUnit, we'll be doing testing in Java, right? So we are testing the developer written Java code. We are testing developer written Java code. Hope you got it, right? Understood? Now, so why we need to go with an only JUnit, right? There might be other testing frameworks as well, but we are going with JUnit. Why JUnit? We are going with JUnit is a unit testing framework. Unit testing framework. And it is a open source. It is a open source framework. It's a open source framework, right? Now, so is there any installation needed as such? Is there any installation needed as such?
No, it comes with the Spring Boot, right?
Not only with the Spring Boot, with even without Spring also we can go with a core Java programming. Right? Right? Now, unit testing framework, it is an open source. Yeah. Any other pointers? Right? So any Java, any open source frameworks we are using with Java, you no need to install. So maybe a few guys are familiar with Spring or Hibernate or etc. right? So you guys are any point of time installing any framework as such in Java applications?
You need the dependencies.
Yes, just we are getting the downloading the dependencies and put those dependencies into your project build path. Do you agree with me or not? So there is no installation needed. There is no installation needed. Am I correct or not? Do you agree with me or not? So just bring the dependent jar files. Just bring the dependent .jar files related to that particular version, put into your project build path, right? And it consumes less size and less memory, less size, right? Right, Mark. Now, so what are all the things you needed in that? Apart from that, you need to have a basic knowledge on Java programming. Basic Java knowledge is needed. Basic Java knowledge is needed. Got it, guys? This is a little intro to JUnit. So any question till here? So if you want, just we'll go with any tutorial. Just for a glance of its features. Okay. Now, so testing is the process. You know all these things, no? So what is a JUnit, right? So JUnit is a unit testing framework for Java programming language. It plays a crucial role in test-driven development and is a family of unit testing framework collectively known as XUnit, right? So generally, JUnit promotes an idea of first testing, then debug, then coding. So first you can frame your test cases by considering all the test scenarios and then code accordingly. Okay. Now, generally it gives you an idea, test a little, code a little, test a little, code a little, like that. Okay. Now, what are all the features of JUnit? Just you can go with JUnit is a open source framework used for writing and running the test cases. And it gives annotations to identify test methods. So allows you to write code faster, right? And JUnit shows you test progress bar, right? Now you can go with these theory sessions. You can go with these theory concepts. Okay. Now, so let's say I thought of developing one simple application, right? Guys, any question till here? Can I proceed further? Hope everyone are with me so far, right?
Yes, we can move.
Right. Guys, everyone. Now, so let's say I have a requirement in a basic string program. Let's go with a string program, right? Now, so I'm writing a basic string example and thought of going with a testing for this. Okay. Now, so what is my requirement? No, let's say, and I'm passing an input, and I'm passing an input, and I'm passing an input to a method, maybe like this, EARTH. Okay. Now, and I'm expecting an output from a method output EARTH, and it should be concatenated with some pipe symbol, and HTRAE it should return. This is my expected output. This is my expected output. Hope you got it, guys. Right. Now, how you will code? Maybe you can go with a method, right? Maybe you can go with a method, right? So let's say, and I'm going with a method called public. So it is returning a string value. So, and I'm going with a get mirror image method, right? Now I'm going with a input, so which is going with an input, and we are expecting an output, and it should return a string value. Return output image. So this is the program you might write. So here I'm going with string output image method local variable declaration come initialization within a single line. Okay. Right, guys? Now, so before writing this, what are the things we need to assume? Generally, we might write a normal program, right? Generally, we might write a normal program. Generally, we might write a normal program. So what normal program we are writing, right? So generally, we'll be writing a business logic. Generally, we'll write a business logic, right? For performing this operation, right? But what are all the things we need to consider? What are all the things we need to consider? What if the input what you supplied, the input what you supplied is a null value? So we need to code for that also, right? Along with the positive scenario, and we need to check your negative scenario as well, right? What if the input supplied is a null value? So you need to incorporate that also or not, right? So we need to check that code. Do you agree with me or not? Right? We need to write the lines of code to test the input. If that input is null, then what should be the result? Then what should be the result, right? And what if it is an empty string? What if the input what you supplied is an empty string? You need to take care about that or not? We need to take care about that or not?
Yes.
Right? So we need to take care about that. But while we are writing our normal code, generally we might not consider about these scenarios. But when it goes to real time, you need to take care about all the test scenarios, including both positive and negative scenarios, right? So by considering these scenarios, you need to implement the code. That's where in real time, test driven development is an important aspect. So what aspect? Test driven development. So generally people will call this one as TDD approach. Have you heard about that? Have you heard about that?
Yes.
Right. So we need to take care about these things or not, right? And you need to take care about this, as well as you need to think about whether that output is giving expected output or not. Okay, now, so let me go with a basic implementation of that test case method, and later we'll be going with the test cases. Now, and I'm going with string utility class. I'm going with a string utility class. Now, in that string utility class, and I'm going with a method. So what are all the method we thought? Now I'm going with a public string get mirror image. Right now, here and I'm passing string input. So which is throwing throws null pointer exception. It might throw null pointer exception, right? Now it should return a string value, right? Now what I'm doing, and I'm going with return null, just for an example, right? Now, so while we are writing a real-time code, we need to follow few scenarios. So as a lead, if whatever the code you submitted, I won't accept as it is. So as a lead, whatever the code you submitted, I won't accept blindly. Whatever the code developed and handed over by the developer, won't accept blindly. Accept blindly, even though it is solving the business requirement. Even though it is solving the business requirement, as a lead, I won't consider it's a complete code. So if as a lead or as a manager, so if I wanted to accept your code, if I wanted to accept your code, if I wanted to accept your code as a suitable code for my requirement, as a lead, I will go with few pointers, few parameters. What are all the parameters I will consider? Coding standards and best practices followed or not. Coding standards and best practices are followed or not. Right? And the second one, test driven development. As per TDD, right? JUnit testing is performed or not. JUnit test cases and code coverage is done or not. And business requirement is completed or not. Business requirements are satisfied, and in that functional requirements, non-functional requirements are taken care or not. Care or not, right? And the fifth point I will consider, logging is performed or not. Logging means recording the activities of your application. Recording the activities of your application. Done or not. So these are all the pointers I will consider. Done or not. So how many of you from development background, guys? Can you suggest me what are all the pointers I have written Is your leads considering about this or not? So maybe freshers, they might not aware about these things, but so maybe a few of guys are having and development experience and exposure, right? Right? Understood or not? Right? Then only we'll consider this is a complete code and push that code into your project and push into live after all the phases of testing is completed, right? So if at all you're writing a code, simply I won't accept, right? So let me tell you about that. So, and I'm going with string output image equal to method local variable declaration come initialization within a single statement. Now I'm writing a statement output image equal to. Now I'm going with input. So I'm going with input dot concat. Now you need to concatenate with some pipe symbol. So followed by concat. So there is no reverse method in string. That's why I'm converting this one as a string buffer or string builder based on your requirement. Maybe and I'm going with a string builder. Now in string builder, you have a reverse method, right? Now I'm converting immutable object into mutable object, and I'm performing a reverse of that operation and concat method of string accepting only string. That's why I'm converting again string buffer into a string builder into a string. Okay, now, right? Now I'm returning an output. Then I'm returning a output image. Then I'm returning a output image. Okay, so just for an example, and I'm going with a main method here for testing this scenario, right? Now create an object of string utility equal to a new string utility, right? Now and I'm calling SYSO utility dot get mirror image of, and I'm passing EARTH, right? Right now. So for this requirement, this will be the output. So will you be getting the output or not? Will you be getting the output or not?
Yes.
Yes, you are getting the output, right? And your business requirement is satisfied. Your requirement is that only. But as a developer, I will consider this is the code working perfectly, and my lead will accept this code. My lead will accept this code. But as a lead, I won't accept this code. As a lead, I won't accept this code, right? As a developer, I might consider. Hope you are able to follow me, right?
Yes, sir.
The code solves the business requirement, and my code is complete correct. And my code is complete correct. And my lead will accept this code. Accept this code, right? But as a lead, I will throw your code like this code, and they will treat you something else, right? And you don't have real-time knowledge, right? Do you agree with me or not? But what are all the parameters? For you, the parameter is this only. As a developer, for you, the parameter is business requirement is satisfied or not. As a developer, you are looking into this scenario. My business requirement is satisfied, whether my code is correct, and whether it is giving a correct output or not, right? But lead won't consider the simple code. So there might be few lines of code might increase due to because of all these scenarios, but lead or companies will expect coding standards and best practices are followed or not, test-driven development is taken care or not, JUnit test cases are implemented or not, logging, recording the activities of application is performed or not. Am I correct or not? Now, let me address those things. Now, what I'm doing, so initially, I will perform test-driven development. So what is my test-driven development? So what if the input is null, then is there any need to perform below logic?
No, not required.
Not required, right? Now, in this case, what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to check if input is equal to null, you need to consider the scenario, right? Now, you need to consider one more scenario. If input dot is empty, then we need to consider these two statements. Am I correct or not? Now here I'm throwing throw new null pointer exception. Now you can pass that exception message, right? Input might be null reference. Please take care. Please take care. Some error message, right? So is empty. There is no direct subclass of exception to handle this is empty. So you can create your user defined exception, but simple purpose, and I'm going with a null pointer exception only, right? So though it is not a null pointer exception, so I don't have any user defined exception created. I don't have any predefined exception to cater this. So that's why just I'm going with a null pointer exception for meanwhile, guys. So input might be a empty string. Please take care. Right. So we are handling this test-driven development. We are addressing the scenarios. Now, few lines of code is increased or not?
Yes.
Due to this, few lines of code is increased or not? Even though these lines of code is increased, you need to handle this. You need to handle this compulsorily. Guys, understood or not? Now, what happened? Now I'm handling the test-driven development. Hope you understood.
Yes.
Hope you understood. Now, next, what you are supposed to do, coding standards and best practices followed or not. So as an experienced developer, myself, maximum I used to follow coding standards and best practices, right? So you know coding standards and best practices. So class starts with capital case letter, and each and every word starts with capital case letter. Package naming, each and every character is a lowercase letter, and there is no special symbols and no digits, right? And method naming convention, variable naming convention, etc. Okay. Now, so that you can take care. Now I need to take care about logging. So have you understood what is being happening here? You are running this method and you are getting the output, but you have no clue which method is executed and what is the input that method is received and what is the output, at what line number we are getting what type of things. So you are completely clueless if you wanted to test and debug your application. Am I correct or not?
Yes.
So when you are supposed to do record the activities of your application by using logging framework. So here I'm not having any logging framework, just I'm going with SYSO statements. Remember guys, in real-time applications, you are not supposed to write any SYSO statements, but only for time being, for recording the activities of application, I'm going with SYSO statement, but in real time, we are going with a logging framework. Now here what I'm doing, and I'm going with a final string. Now and I'm going with a method underscore name, and I'm declaring one variable, right? So I'm giving my method name here. So and I'm trying to record the activities of your application. Now what I'm doing here, and I'm writing system.out.println method invoke, right? So which method is invoked? This dot get class dot get name, right? So in that particular class, what is the method is being called, and what is the input which is received from that method, right? Now here what I'm doing, and I'm writing something, right? Now here and I'm going here. Now and I'm going with response from the method, or you can go with method exit. Method exit. So which method is exiting and what is the response which is returning? What is the response which is returning? Now let me run this program. Now see here. Now you know that by seeing this program, okay, com.ashokit.JUnit string utility class. Inside of this class, get mirror image method is invoked, and this get mirror image method is getting an input as f. And this method is returning with an output called EARTH and HTRAE. Now you have a clue, right? What method is being called and what is the input which is received by this method and what is the output which you are expecting, what is the output which is returned by the method. Now let's say if at all you are passing empty string, now you might get some null pointer exception, but you don't have any clue if at all you are not recording the activities of your application. If you record the activities of your application, you came to know that, okay, but this method is getting executed, but this method is receiving an input as a empty string. That's the reason we are getting a null pointer exception. You have complete clue what is being happening here. Am I correct or not? That's the reason you need to record the activities of your application. Generally, in real-time applications, we are going with a log4j framework. But for time being, in this example, and I'm managing with system.out.println statements. Hope you got it right. Now, what are all the things addressed here? Coding standards and best practices are addressed. Right? Now, test-driven development is addressed or not? Addressed or not? Right? Now, functional requirements are taken care or not? Right? Understood or not? Now, so recording the activities of your application is taking care or not? Right? Now, then what you are supposed to do? Then what you are supposed to do? Then you need to go with a JUnit. You need to test that methods whether it is working or not. Right? Guys, hope everyone understood till now, right?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, please explain what is the coding standards and the best practices in the code itself.
Right. See, coding standards and best practices go through, right? Now here, and I'm not in that session. Okay. So coding standards and best practices, the common practices in which all the language developers community followed, right? Generally, we do follow coding standards and best practices across the community. So package naming convention, variable naming convention, method naming convention, right? Class naming convention, constant variables naming convention, right? Right?
Okay. In the first point, we have to see whether the whatever maybe the Java has been recommended, you have to use.
Yes.
Okay.
That coding standard best practices. See, always it is suggestible to write the code and habituated to write the code by following coding standards and best practices.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Logging means recording.
Logging means recording the activities of your application. Logging means recording the activities of your application. What method is being called, and what is the input received by the method, and what is the output, right? Yes, and maybe few important lines of code you might test. Okay, then only you came to know, right, what is being happening around that program.
Yes, sir, got it.
Right? So yes, these things needs to be addressed compulsorily, right? These things needs to be addressed compulsorily. Hope you got it right. So whatever the code developed and handed over by the developer won't accept blindly, even though it is solving the business requirement. So what lead will consider code review? He will go with code review, coding standards and best practices are followed or not, test-driven development as per TDD or not. So JUnit test cases and code coverage is done or not. Business requirements are satisfied, both functional and non-functional requirements taken care or not. Logging, recording the activities of application is done or not. Got it, guys?
Sir,
Sir,
log-
but whatever second point, sir, test-driven development.
That's what we did know. All the test cases we are taken care
Okay,
or not.
null. Okay,
So
Different
not only null
possibilities.
and all the scenarios.
all the scenarios.
So here we are checking only null and empty, but we might have different scenarios for different examples, right?
Sorry, sir, that second condition, can you explain, like input dot is empty?
Right. So
Like-
see, if the string is empty, let's say you're getting input string and you're getting input string output, right? Now, what you will get output?
Empty.
Right? Empty string, right? So, right? So if you are not taking care about this empty, if at all you're not taking care about this empty, right? Let's see. Now you're getting the output like this, right? So you're getting a correct output. Okay, let's say you're passing empty string. Now what you will get? You will get just a pipe symbol only. Am I correct or not?
Got it, sir.
Right? So if you wanted to have expect this is the correct output, fine. Otherwise, you need to take care, right?
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Sir, in real time, logging is used to check where the exactly exception is going to get occur.
Right. Not only where the exception is going to occur. So we are checking application program entry and method entry.
We need to monitor
What
each
is
and
happening,
everything.
monitor each and everything. So maybe if at all you're running maybe a server-side application, servlets application or something, or Hibernate or Spring application in console, you will get, right? So at this time, that server is started, that server is using this port number, right?
Log messages.
Log messages. Similarly, in your code also, you need to record the activities of your application, right?
Okay.
Now, so now what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to check whether this code is giving expected output or not, right? So for that scenario, I will go with a JUnit test cases. To do JUnit test cases, now for build path, you can add libraries. You can go with a JUnit library, or you can convert this application as a Maven application and add the dependency. Okay. Now, so here I'm not going with any Maven, just I'm adding the JUnit library. If you wanted to add the JUnit library, already all the Eclipses are giving the support. Go with add library and click on JUnit and select the which version of JUnit you wanted. So we have JUnit 3, 4, and 5. Now I'm concentrating on JUnit 4 now. And if you are not wanted to do like this, you can convert into a Maven application in pom.xml. You can add the JUnit 4 dependency.
Sir, please repeat, sir, repeat this step.
Yeah, right. Now let me go here. Okay, now this is our application, right? Right. Now I wanted to add JUnit for this. So if you wanted to add JUnit, you can go to build path, add libraries, and you can add JUnit library, whichever the library you wanted, right? Now you can select appropriate version of JUnit, what you wanted, and click on finish. Your JUnit is an open source framework and it is not from Java, right? It is not from Java. Am I correct or not? So you need to add that library to your project environment. So you can do by adding build path, or you can convert this application as a Maven application. And in pom.xml, you can add the JUnit dependency. In pom.xml, you can add the JUnit dependency. Hope you understood.
Yes, sir.
Guys, understood?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yes,
why have you
understood.
selected a JUnit 5?
Yeah, you can go with the JUnit 5, but I thought of explaining the initial version. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Java project to Maven project.
Yeah, tell me,
Hello.
go ahead.
Yes, yes. How to convert a Java project to Maven?
So you can convert, directly click on that and you can go with convert into a Maven project. Okay, just give me a minute.
Yeah, hello. One question is there.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, suppose I have Spring project, so Spring Boot like REST application. So I can test with this, or we have to add any other things.
No, you can test with this. Okay, no issues. Okay, right. So let me complete here. Okay, now I have added a JUnit dependency, guys. Right. So if you wanted to convert this one as a Maven application, right? So go here, configure, convert to Maven project. Click on that. And you can add all those things, and pom.xml is generated. In that pom.xml, you can add the dependency. Right. So Postman is just a testing tool to test the web services. It's not a testing tool, only to check whether to test the URLs. Okay, there is a big difference between JUnit and Postman. Okay, give me a minute. Let me complete this. Okay, right, guys. Any question till here? Till these pointers? Any questions?
No question.
Sir, on the code you mentioned throws also and throw also. So both is compulsory because already we employ line number 4 we also use the throws null pointer exception, and again line number what we say the 9 number also you mentioned the
Yes.
throw.
See,
Both
if you wanted to throw exceptions from a method body, you need to use a throw keyword, and you need to take that exception to the caller. Then you need to have a throws keyword. However, it is not mandatory for unchecked exceptions, but checked exceptions, you need to follow these guidelines.
Oh, got it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, right. Now let me go for testing the thing.
Hello,
right?
sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we are going to use JUnit only for core Java.
JUnit is only for core Java. For advanced Java testing and all, you have a JUnit EE framework. Okay. And maybe Cactus, few other frameworks are there. Okay. Right.
Okay.
Right. So now what I'm doing, so for that, and I'm going with a test case class. Now let me create new class called string utility test or test string utility. Right now see here. Now, if you wanted to go with JUnit 3.0, then it should implement test case class. It should implement test case class. But if you wanted to go with JUnit 4.0 and above, then there is no need of implementing a test case class. So just you can manage with annotations, right? Now, what I'm trying to do, let me go with the method which I'm supposed to test. So I wanted to test get mirror image method, right? Now I wanted to test get mirror image method. Now, and I'm going here. Now, right? Open cloudly brace, closing cloudly brace. So it shouldn't return anything, just and I'm going with a public void, right? So I wanted to make sure this method as a test method. So if you wanted to tell this is a test method in 3.0, we can go with extends test case class, right? And every method is supposed to place with a test keyword, right? So this is with JUnit 3.0. But nowadays, we are not going with the JUnit 3.0. It is a olden one, legacy one. So now we need to go with a, which one? JUnit 4.0. To go with the JUnit 4.0 and all, what you are supposed to do? You are supposed to take out all those things. Just you can manage with annotations. So if framework should identify this method as a test method, just you are supposed to annotate this method as a @test annotation. @test annotation. Then this JUnit consider this one as a test method. Okay. So after that, what I'm doing, and I'm going with a string input equal to now I'm passing EARTH now. And I'm creating an object of string utility. string utility equal to new string utility, right? And you can call utility dot what is the method? Get mirror image method, and we are passing an input, right? And this method is returning an output, right? So string output image equal to. Now you need to test that expected output and actual output. To test that expected output and actual output, we are having set of asset methods. We are having set of asset methods, right? Right. So we have asset equals method, asset true, asset false, asset not null. Like that, we are having so many asset methods. We need to make sure these methods will be used. So asset equals method used for checking two Boolean values or two different primitive values or two objects. Like that, we are having different asset methods. So for that scenario, I'm going with a method called asset equals EQUALS, asset equals. Now here you need to go with the expected and actual output. So you need to go with the expected and actual output. So import asset equals, right? So asset equals, and you need to go with a string. So you can go with a string related asset method. So string message, right? So overloaded asset methods are there. So you can make use of that. You can make use of that particular one. So asset equals. So import asset equals. Now actual and expected value. So we can go with a actual and expected value. Asset equals. Now what is the actual value? Returned value is output image. This output image should be tested with EARTH plus HTRAE. So now this asset equals will use it to test actual value and the expected value is correct or not. The actual value means output image which is written from this method. Expected value, what we are expecting this method should be written. So this should be tested. To test this, run this one as JUnit test. Run as JUnit test. Now what happens? It will run and it will show you whether the test case is pass or failed. Right? So if the test case is pass, it will give you green color. If the test case is fail, it will give you red color. Now, and here it will show how many tests are written, how many test cases are written, and in that how many test cases are executed, and how many test cases are failure, and how many test cases gives the errors, like that. And you will get a failure stack trace, and you will get every information here. Okay. Now, so we are testing for positive scenario, right? So here we are testing for positive scenario. Let's say you need to test for null point exception, right? Now what I'm doing, so I'm going with a test mirror image one method. Now I wanted to test with null value. So what if at all you are sending a null value, if at all you are sending a null value, is it required that output image required? No. This asset equals required? No. So what you are supposed to test, whether it is throwing a null pointer exception or not. So to test that null pointer exception, you can put inside of a try and catch, or otherwise for test annotation, there is an extension given expected, what you are expecting from here. So I'm expecting null pointer exception class to be written. So, and I'm expecting it should return null pointer exception, right? Now, if you wanted to test your one more test case for empty, right? So you can go like this, or you can put inside of a try and catch as well. You can put inside of a try and catch as well. So what I'm doing, I'm putting this one inside of a try and catch. So I'm expecting this should return a catch. So I'm expecting it should return a null pointer exception. And I'm expecting it should return a null pointer exception. Maybe you can handle that null pointer exception here. So I'm writing system dot err dot println, and you can write e dot get message, right? Now observe here. Now instead of going with a null, here I'm going with a empty string. So now this will be tested. So for this requirement, this get message method is executed or not. Let me run this. Run as JUnit test. Run as JUnit test. Right now, how many test cases we have implemented? 3 test cases. All these test cases are passed. Yes, these test cases are passed. And what is the order of these test cases execution? See here, these test cases are executed. Test mirror image 1, 2. We are expecting like that, but that order is not followed, right? These test cases are not executed in the order what you have mentioned. Have you noticed that test cases are executed in the order what you have mentioned? No. So if you wanted to make sure that test cases are executed in the order what you have mentioned, then you need to go with an annotation called @fix method order. Then you need to tell method sorters, and you have different things: default order, JVM method sorters, name ascending order. You can pass whatever the order you wanted. So, and I'm going with a name ascending order. Now let me run this. Now see here, now test cases are executed in the order what you have mentioned or not. So you need to take care about this. Guys, hope you understood till now. Hope you understood till now. Guys, hope you understood till now.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Now see here, what is the problem we are doing here? Observe here, ma. How many times you are creating test utility object? Multiple times. For each and every test case, this utility object is created, right? Why to create these many number of times, right? So for that, you have one option, right? Now what I'm doing, and I'm taking out this, just and I'm making this one as a null, right? So make this one as private, right? Now what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to go with a method, public void init method. Inside of init method, what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to instantiate this object. And I'm trying to instantiate this object. Now what I'm doing, and I'm writing whether this method is executed or not. So just from init method, right? Now, and I'm making this one as before annotation. So what happen if you add before for each and every test case, before execution of test case, this before method is executed. Okay. Now similarly, and I'm going with after annotation. Now I'm going with public void destroy. So why to need that object? And I'm making this object eligible for garbage collection. So utility equal to null. And I'm making this object is eligible for garbage collection. Now and I'm telling SYSO from destroy method, right? Now you don't need to write unnecessarily object creation statement these many number of times. Unnecessarily, you don't need to create object creation these many number of times. What happened before execution of each and every test case, init method will execute one time. And after completion of test case, destroy method will execute one time. And that object is eligible for garbage collection. So have you noticed that? See here, for each and every test case, init method is executed one time and destroy method is executed one time. Have you noticed that? Right? So this is the use of before and after annotations. So I don't want to execute this init and destroy methods for each and every test case. Let's say I have 20 test cases. So for 20 test cases, making this init method and calling this destroy method again, this will be a time wasting, and those many number of objects are created and destroyed, right? So instead of that, if you wanted to make sure only one time, then make this object as a static, okay, and make these methods or static methods one-time operations, right? You can go with before class annotation and after class annotation. You can go with before class annotations and after class annotations. Now see here. One time init method is getting executed, object is created, all the test cases are executed. Once all the test cases are executed and your object is getting destroyed. Object is getting destroyed. Now we are taking care about all the test cases or not? We are taking care about all the test cases or not? Guys, have you noticed that? So all the test cases are executed or not? Now, if you wanted to ignore any test case from execution, you can add @ignore annotation, right? Now what happened? That particular test case is ignored from running. That particular test case is ignored from running. Now, so 3 test cases are there and 1 is skipped. Why? Because we are adding @ignore annotation, right? So if you wanted to go with check how much time it is taking, 100 milliseconds or 10 milliseconds, like that. For doing time testing also, you can go with that. So for non-functional requirements, how much time it is taking to complete that method to execute, right? So you can go with all these scenarios. Got it, guys? Now, any question till here? Any question till here?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, I want to ask that attribute about expected. Is it that alternative for assert equal statement?
See, assert equals used to compare maybe to Boolean values, maybe to objects or something like that. But test expected, if you wanted to check whether that exceptions are raised or not for that particular scenario. Okay, and you can go with test expected. This will work for unchecked exceptions only. If you wanted to deal with checked exceptions, again, you need to go with some other scenario. Okay.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So non-functional requirements means, so whether that, let's say I have a image to be loaded, how much time it is taking to load that image, right? Performance kind of stuff. Got it, guys?
Sir, this will be executed only when we'll be executing with JUnit test, right? Like if we execute as Java application, these tests won't be executed.
Executed, right? So anyhow, we are using JUnit only, no? So run as, you can run as JUnit test, right?
But if we run
and
as
see
Java
here,
application, then
you
also
don't have any main method. Have you noticed here? I didn't write any main method. Have you noticed this?
Yeah.
Right? Now, just you can click on that also. So without main method, it will execute. Got it?
Okay.
Sir, in this, can we see code coverage, like how many lines
Yes.
coverage?
So, and I'm going with that next point, right? Now, see here. Now, then there is an option called code coverage, ECLMA code coverage. And you can run with ECL code coverage report. Remember, guys, so generally, olden days, we don't have this coverage plugin. So in almost all the Eclipse versions nowadays, this ECLMA plugin is added here. Otherwise, you can go with help and marketplace, Eclipse marketplace, and you can get a ECLMA code coverage. You can download that and add to your Eclipse plugin, right? ECLMA code coverage. So you can go with that and you can do that installation as well. But here I have it already. Now what I'm doing, and I'm trying to run a coverage as JUnit test. Coverage as JUnit test. So if you see here, a coverage report is generated. A coverage report is generated. And how many lines of code is covered? So it's already mentioned here. It's already mentioned here. Have you noticed that? Now in string utility, I don't want any main method, guys. Just a minute. Right now, string utility. So let me take out that ignore. Right now, go with coverage as. Now already coverage report is generated, and how many lines of code is covered? A report is generated. Now it is showing how many lines of code. This green color means how many lines of code is covered as part of your written test cases. As part of my written test cases, almost all the test cases, almost all the lines of code is covered or not? Almost all the lines of code is covered or not? Almost all the lines of code is covered or not? With the help of these written test cases, right? So if this green color means almost all lines of code is covered, and this is a perfect code which is implemented by you. This is a perfect code which is implemented by you.
Hello,
right?
sir.
Yeah.
JUnit comes under manual testing, sir.
No, it won't come under manual testing. It will come under automation testing.
Automation. Sir, JUnit framework is used only to perform the unit testing on core Java code.
Yes.
Okay.
So
for
you can
others-
in web applications also you can do only DAO layers we are able to test. If you wanted to test entire MVC flow, then you need to go with a JUnit EE framework, or there is a framework called Cactus.
Kafka.
Cactus.
Okay, okay. And sir, web services and Spring Boot.
That's what. So JUnit will use only for covering your core Java part.
Okay. Sir, web application testing, we need to go for
other frameworks.
Okay.
Guys, hope you understood, right? Guys?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, all these pointers are covered or not? Then only your code is considered to be a complete code. Right. So what are all the things we covered here? Now see here. So whether the code is in the format of a coding standards and best practices. Right. Now see here. My code is following all the coding standards and best practices, right? Now see here. Package naming convention, class naming convention, method naming convention, right? Constant variables convention, right? Coding standards is covered and best practices followed, right? Now, have I followed logging? Yes, record the activities of the application. So have I written the code as per TDD, test driven development? Yes. Even though few lines of code is increased, but you need to follow all these lines of code, then only our code is considered to be complete perfect code. So what are the pointers considered by the lead or project manager or client, whether the code is as per coding standards and best practices or not, whether developer addressed test driven development, so JUnit test cases and code coverage is done or not, right? And business requirements, functional requirements and non-functional requirements are taken care or not, right? Now logging, recording the activities of your application is performed or not. So then only our code considered to be a complete code and accepted by the team, and it will be accepted by the team. Hope you understood, right?
Sir, can you
Hello.
show me like
Yeah,
CRUD
one by one.
application?
Okay.
CRUD
Uh,
application.
Yeah, tell me. Go ahead.
Can you show me CRUD application test?
Sorry.
Can you show me CRUD application test?
So I don't have that example ready, ma. So maybe in next week we will go with that. Okay.
So yeah, we can use same.
You
this
can
only.
you can follow the same approach. You can follow
Okay.
the same approach.
Show me, sir, in next class or
In next session we'll do that.
Sir, once you show package structure again.
Hello, sir.
Guys, 1 minute. Okay. Done, guys?
So once you please open the package structure, I want to see that.
Yes. Yeah.
In single package, we have taken both utility.
Yeah, this is only
everything.
example purpose, no? So
Yeah.
anyhow, you need to follow loosely coupling and high cohesion approach. So you can go with a com.ashokit.test classes and you can keep that test string utility in some other package. Okay, just this is a demo application I have created in a same folder.
Sir, can we test private methods the same way?
No, testing private methods is difficult. Okay.
Is we have to follow logging in test classes as well.
In test classes, logging is not required. Okay, in test classes, logging is not required. So this is only for our understanding purpose. I have written SYSO statements, right? And remember, real time, we are not supposed to go with SYSO statements. They're supposed to go with a logging. So how I'm doing no in real time. So generally in real time, we'll be using like this. So maybe we're going with a log framework and log.info. So in that log.info, we are following this approach. So instead of SYSO statements, we are going with the log statements.
Sir, please once explain the purposes of code coverage and logging.
See, logging is recording the activities of your application. So code coverage is how many lines of code is covered as part of your written test cases. As part of your written test cases, how many lines of code is covered. Let's say, and I'm not addressing about this empty string. Okay. Now let me run code coverage. Now what happened? And test cases will run, right? And if you see your code coverage, so this if condition is not checked and we are not dealing about these lines of code. That means we are not tested whether these lines of code is executed or not. So your written test cases are not sufficient to check all the lines of code what you have implemented. So if you see such type of things, what you are supposed to do, based on that, we need to improve the number of test cases in such a way that all the lines of code is covered by the written test cases. Now, hope you understood what is the use of a code coverage.
Means a code coverage is a view of what you have tested.
Yes, yes. Good question. Hope that addresses your question, right?
Thank you, sir.
Sir, if a method is calling another method and we are expecting some input from that method,
yes.
So while testing, how to mock that method or
see that mocking is an extension to JUnit. So here mocking is different and JUnit is different. So just and I'm showing you a basic way of JUnit testing. So we are having mock framework. So that is little bit extension to your JUnit, and we have some advanced features in that. Okay. So today just and I'm showing you the basic way of testing your Java applications.
So how to cover private methods?
Private methods directly it is not possible. You need to invoke, anyhow we are accessing the private methods in some public methods or protected methods only, no? So you need to test that public methods internally. Those anyhow the flow will go inside of that, right? That's only the possible.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, all annotations of the test we are also using in mock also, right, sir?
In mocking?
Yeah, in mocking also at the rate ignore, at the rate,
yes,
all the annotations we are using, right?
Yes. So that's what I told. No, mocking is some next level of testing based on JUnit only. So here, and I'm showing you the basic way of testing by using JUnit.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Guys, hope you understood this session, right?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
What is how to use before all, after all annotations?
Before all, after all. Before class, after class only.
I heard some annotation before all, after all, like that.
Maybe in JUnit 5 or something. I'm not sure. Let me check. Before and after.
I think it's executed before all the test cases, only once. Before all.
Maybe before all introduced in JUnit 5.0. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Got it. These
Got
are
it.
all introduced in a new version. So run with and all. So instead of directly running, you can go with a run with annotations. Okay. So you can go with the tutorial, you will understand the basics. So this is the main agenda. So how to write the test cases and all. Okay. Right.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, actually, in the test string utility class, we write in the test classes for handling.
Sorry.
Sir, string utility.java, we are writing the test. Sorry.
Can you type now?
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
In test string utility.java, actually we written the test cases for a null and empty, but in the code coverage it is showing like
No.
it is
So,
not showing.
No.
Right, sir?
We are writing test cases for all the things.
Yeah.
Right.
For all the cases like null and empty also. But in the code coverage, it is showing like.
See, you no need to. Yes. You no need to consider code coverage in test cases class. Only you need to think about code coverage in actual test method. Okay. So you no need to worry about the coverage in test case classes. Hope you got it?
Yes.
So you don't need to think about it. First of all, only you need to consider coverage in your actual class and actual methods.
Okay, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, while getting an jar files for JUnit, is it to check version compatibility between the JUnit and our JDK or Java?
No issues, ma. So it is compatible.
Okay. With Java 1.8, I can use latest version also.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question which is, see, in case if we are going to writing a single method for multiple test cases in the dev environment and moving to production, it becomes a heavy for that application, right? Because, definitely it is a heavy and we want to get the right output, it becomes a heavy. But, it's keep on going for a single function. We are testing for multiple ways, like, 10, 12, 13 test cases. It is very heavy for the application and code coverage. Is there any possibility to that in the production time to disable for these test cases?
See, generally in production, we no need to go for testing and all. Why? Because before moving to production, so already we have completed all the testing and all. No, so in production there is no need of going for testing, I guess, to run these test cases. I guess.
So
Right?
I mean to say that these classes will not be part of your application in the production.
Yes, it will be there, but anyhow, we are not running the test cases. No, maybe if at all we are going with these tools, DevOps tools, continuous integrity testing and all, those tools will take care building that application to testing that applications.
Only for building time it will take care, but not for the runtime.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Only building time only. So once that is built, tested and built, then deployed into the production server. So at that time, you no need to run the test cases. No, already your code is tested.
Okay. So that means when you are right click and executing the run the test cases, that time only it is checking your code. But when you run it as application, it's not going to consider as a test cases.
Yes. Only again in production, if you wanted to check your issues in case anything happened, only we go through logs. So we have that application support to a team. Those guys will get to connect to Linux environment and server and going to the log files, and they are checking the each and every line of logging activity is performed in that application in log files, and they are using some Linux commands, and they will identify what is this error. So based on that error, again will come for troubleshooting, right?
That means instead of finding for the problem in the whole application, a particular location, they easily to identify, even though it is a production error, they bring back it into the dev environment and again test it and then send it back to the production.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So guys, hope this session is useful, right? So next Saturday again, we'll have a continuation for this. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You
Just
will
today, give me a
JUnit.
minute. Give me a minute. So just today, I'm introducing you guys to basic JUnit. So we are having so many features in JUnit, and here we are tested only the basic method, right? So we'll cover a few. We'll take few scenarios and we'll cover all the scenarios. Like we'll do one collections related case study. In that case study, we'll check. So how to even see this is basic. So generally in real-time applications, we have so many user-defined objects, and we are sending that model objects with setters and getters. So how the data is transferred and checking the user-defined exceptions and all. So many scenarios are there, right? So we'll do that, right? So actually today, just I wanted you guys to come into a introduction level of JUnit. So next Saturday, we'll have a continuation session, and what are all the major real-time scenarios we'll cover in that. Okay.
Sir, are we going to use Mockito framework as well with JUnit?
No.
Or?
So in this session, and I'm targeting only JUnit guys. So maybe in future, I will come up with a Mockito session.
So JUnit and JUnit Mockito are different, huh?
Same, more or the same, but little bit enhanced features in Mockito.
Hello, sir.
Okay, sir. Will you conduct a session on next Saturday with same link, right?
With the same link or different link, people will inform you. Okay.
The next session will be on next Saturday, sir.
Next Saturday, yes.
Okay.
So why? Because most of
So-
the guys are working professionals, no? So that's why generally workshops will plan at weekends only.
So in this session,
How will the notes be shared?
Sorry,
The notes, how the notes will be shared?
these notes.
Sir, as a Java developer, JUnit is sufficient.
Yes, JUnit is needed.
so but
mandatory.
excuse me, sir. But we need to test means REST API or the JUnit is useful. Means is this JUnit is useful for testing the REST API?
No, JUnit is used for testing the code what you have written inside of your real-time applications, right? So testing your REST applications and all generally will be going for Postman tool, right? So that is manually testing, but whatever the code you have written internally for your API methods, that will be tested with JUnit only, right? Got it? So JUnit is useful for test the code what you have written in Java.
So can you teach us how to use Postman for testing the API?
So that will come in next sessions, but this session is only targeting for JUnit. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Right.
Sir, do you provide classes in weekdays also?
So weekdays, that's what I told. No, morning I told, right? Currently, an advanced Java is going on. So maybe starting I have mentioned, right? So from Monday, core Java is already completed. So from Monday, we are starting with advanced Java. Okay. So a little bit of collections activity. After that, we'll start JDBC and database servlets and JSPs. So this is 7 p.m. IST. So if anyone of you interested to join my advanced Java and the later Spring Boot sessions, you can enroll into that.
And sir,
Yeah, one question, sir. This session will be more will be there, or this is the one only will be there?
Sorry.
I am asking. This will be continued to next session also, or this will be only be there?
So this will be continued for next Saturday. Continuation.
Next Saturday.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, in this advanced Java batch, JDK 1.8 features also covered, or
Yes, it will be covered little later, ma. So already we covered up to 1.7 and we done with collections. So we thought of starting with JDBC tomorrow, and maybe next weekend we'll be come up with the collections activities and JUnit for that next Saturday and Sunday. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Where we can get the notes of this?
So you can contact our admin team, ma. Those guys will share these notes. Okay. After completion of the session, maybe you can contact tomorrow. They will share. Okay.
Hello, sir. Sir.
So Mockito and all that is not covered, or there will be a session.
So the Mockito and all will come up with new batches, no? So this free workshop is only for JUnit.
Whom should I talk to, sir, for that?
So our admin team. So you are getting the emails or notification for this course, right? So you can contact our team, Ashok IT admin team. Okay.
And these workshops, JUnit syllabus can be checked. Where can we check?
So in our website, there is no syllabus posted for JUnit workshop, no? So this I will take out of my interest for our resources.
So we will meet at next weekend, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you guys are interested to join my advanced Java and framework sessions, so you can very much interested, and maybe you can suggest any one of your friends to enroll into my courses. Okay.
Tomorrow there is no session.
Tomorrow there is no session. Okay.
Sir, learning Servlet and JSP, is it fruitful to get a job nowadays as Spring and Spring Boot is a demand now?
Demand only, but it is always suggestible to have a understanding on servlets and JSPs. Okay. So
Okay.
maybe you might have an exposure. Maybe you are getting some support projects or something like that, right? At that time, at least you need to have a minimum understanding what is being happening, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So thanks, guys. So thanks for joining. So that's all for today. Okay. So we'll meet on next Saturday in JUnit session. So any one of you guys interested to enroll into my advanced Java courses, you can enroll by today and tomorrow, and Monday you can join into my advanced Java courses. Okay.
Sir, how much duration the advanced Java course is going to be?
So by this month end or first week of September, advanced Java will complete. Maybe by sharp 10th of September, advanced Java will complete with web services and a project on MVC.
Around 1.5 months max.
Yes, more or less. So 30 working days, you can expect like that.
Okay.
So
And,
in between, we'll cover database as well.
Real-time project we are going to develop from scratch, or it will be only
Scratch only.
Okay,
So
we are going
servlets and
to
JSP basic real-time application only, nama. So you no need to have that much application. When it comes to Spring and Spring frameworks, you will get a more exposure on real-time.
Okay, really we are going to develop that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, guys. Yeah. Thanks for attending my sessions. Okay. So hope everyone liked today's session, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes.
sir. Thank you very much.
So how you feel today's session, guys?
Awesome, sir. Good. Very good.
Yes, sir. Great, awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks. Hope
Yes,
we'll meet on next Saturday. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So if anyone are interested, join to my advanced Java sessions. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.